I'm feeling those punts. Is that just something he has to work on, or
Yeah, I mean, I spoke on it last time I was in here about how, how I felt his judgment was really good. It was a little bit uncharacteristic of him in the game, I would say. On the last one, well, the second to last one, he lost it in the lights. Kind of came down a little funky at the end, and he did a good job of avoiding it and avoiding a muff. So obviously it was super close. That's why I think he retreated fast to get back to the ball. But yeah, I think that he'll just continue to work and rep and get as many catches as he can. So I'm confident in him that he'll make it right.
Kind of an uncharacteristic night for you guys all around because obviously there was that play and Mike had the penalty and just some things like that.
Yeah, I think that Mike's penalty is unfortunate. I mean, if you go back and watch the replay, and I saw the replay standing on the sideline, they show him up close and he's engaged in the block with the blocker as simultaneously as Calvin Austin's signaling for the fair catch. He doesn't see the fair catch, and you could see when Mike contacted him, he was a little unsure. That happens at times, and honestly, Mike played well in the game. Things are going to happen in games like that, so it's something that, it was unfortunate for us. We got a 15-yard penalty out of it. But, the thing for that is I would just say just encourage him to keep playing hard and aggressive, and we can live with some of those, mishaps at times.
He didn't see the fair catch.
Nah, he was engaged with the blocker, didn't see the fair catch, no.
on that one, I think it was a 53-yard kick by Dustin Hopkins. He's historically not done great beyond the 50, but you must have total confidence that he could have.
Of course, yeah. He's shown it in practice reps. He obviously executed it well in the game. I mean, he hit that ball. I said that was probably the best. Made a joke yesterday. That was the best field goal I've ever coached. Like I actually kicked it, right? No, but under my watch, that's probably the best kick I've seen like as a coach. So, I mean, did you?
Game winner or anything?
I'm saying as far as the kick itself overall, I mean, he hit it from 55 yards. It looked like it could have been good from 65. Hit the back of the net, right down the middle, good rotation, elevation. I mean, everything was executed well on the kick. So, credit to him and our snapper and holder.
In the short time that he's been here, have you, had any words of wisdom for him about those long kind of kicks, or did you identify something or see anything?
No, I think he really hits every ball the same. So I think that's an important thing. Not trying to gear up on a long ball. He's got clearly enough leg strength to do so. So just trying to keep everything consistent and similar to if you were hitting a PAT or a short field goal.
What is this Tennessee return game like?
Tennessee overall, their core group, they're a physical group. They've played a rookie back there, Jackson, from Georgia, receiver, number 5. He's got a good skill set. He's a smooth runner, good in and out of the cut. He's got good speed. He's quick. So I'm familiar with this team. Played against them for the last handful of years in Indianapolis, so they're familiar with my schemes and things like that too.
Think when you saw the Patriots block that field goal with the guy running down the line?
Great execution to time that up. Denver actually attempted something similar to that versus us back in 19. And a lot of times I think teams do that as almost like a distraction, but credit to Schooler for timing it up. The film study, obviously you're studying the operation. It's whenever you go on like double cadence, right, that you could throw some of that off. So I think that'll be the thing that'll end up happening with, field goal operations. You saw we were able to draw Pittsburgh offsides, in that game, which ended up being a positive for us. We ended up going for 2, so.
How do you prevent that? What's that edge guy got to do there? I mean, he's got a couple of assignments, right? He's got to keep an eye on him and as well the guy off of his shoulder.
Yeah, I think emphasis is on playing your technique, not getting I would say distracted into, trying to lunge out into your technique, because as soon as that wing lunges out, now what becomes available is the next gap inside. So just play your technique, and you really, emphasis on timing up your punch to the perimeter, timing up your punch and locating your punch, easier said than done, but you know. So
The distraction part of it, the kicker missed the next one, and they kind of tried to do the same thing even though they got it blocked. Is that something that, I don't know, can you practice that? Or is it with your kicker, kind of get him used to that if he sees that?
yeah, you can. I mean, you're always going to try to have some type of distraction, whether it's movement or something that you don't see often. I think that's something that I'm sure us and other teams will start to implement into their practice routine.
You said that it was going to be an emotional game for yourself, being from Pittsburgh and all, and knowing the rivalry. And that game was so tight that how do you keep, one special teams play could change the game. I mean, what was that like for you in the second half and fourth quarter?
Yeah, I mean, the crowd was into it. It was loud. The communication was difficult at times because it was loud there. Unfortunately, we didn't make as many plays as I had hoped. We're hoping to, make more moving forward. Just got to execute better. Got to execute. Comes down to execution. We didn't execute on a few plays. Would like to definitely have a few of those back. But the guys understand that it's a week-to-week, game-to-game season, that, this is the next most important game because it's the next game against Tennessee. So try to apply the corrections to the practice and then carry it over into the game.
What do you think the mindset is coming off of a crushing loss like that, and also losing Nick Chubb? What as coaches, and what do you guys have to do this week to kind of get these guys back feeling great about heading into this game?
Yeah, I think Kevin had a great message for both the staff and the players yesterday as far as our mentality right now, right? You lose, a really, really good football player, like an important football player to our team. But it's like, what would Nick want us to do right now, right? Nick would want everyone to say, get to work, go back to work and figure out a way to beat Tennessee. So, I mean, feel bad for him. He's a great player, great person, great teammate. Obviously, hopefully he has a fast recovery. We're excited that, we were able to sign, Kareem back. And then Jerome's going to have a bigger role, obviously, moving forward. So, our team is going to stick together, and we're going to fight and try to play as best complementary football as we can in all three phases of the game.
Can you use Kareem Hunt on special teams, and are you looking forward to doing that?
He's done some kick returner stuff in the past, as far as at least in a practice setting, I know. So haven't really got into anything besides that type of role for him.
Did you tell Jerome goodbyes and like send your kid off to college?
No, but whenever he went down the sideline on that run, I turned to someone and said, "I saw that on that highlight film." Like, I know that. I don't know if anyone else knew that he could roll like that, but that was fun to watch, and credit to him and his hard work for taking advantage of an opportunity, and hopefully he can produce even more for our team. Appreciate it.
looks like a taser.
Without Nick, do you have to change the offense significantly, slightly, or is it just going to stay the same with the guys you have in the backfield?
I'd probably say slightly. I don't think significantly is the case. You know, obviously it's a huge loss, you know, for us as a team. Not just the player, but the person and the leader in the locker room. It's rough, but that's life in the NFL. You know, obviously there's a huge shoes to fill, and we just got to find a bunch of different feet to fill them.
Sean just said that part of the reason the offense is struggling, passing game in particular, is because people are not on the same page. What do you make of that, considering y'all had the whole offseason together?
Yeah, I don't know if that's the case. You know, obviously that's how he feels about that. But I think we're doing good things. We're close. You know, a couple plays here or there, I think we'll be better. Not 100% synced up right now, and it's the second game of the year. So we continue to grow together. You know, I think that's where we got to stay positive and keep moving forward. I mean, we're doing a lot of good things offensively, and we're not clicking 100% yet. So I feel good about the direction we're heading. And I see it all coming together, you know, as we move forward. It's like any other season, you know, very rarely teams start off and get hot and stay hot the whole year. So it's finding your way through and just continue to grow together.
Jerome, try to fill those shoes. How did you think he did on Monday night, and what's your confidence level in him going forward?
Got a lot of confidence in him. Obviously, the huge play. He's got that ability to break away and run away from guys. You know, he's got really good vision. You know, exceptional feet. I think he'll be part of those shoes. You know, he'll at least go on one of those shoes. But I was really proud of the way he played. Made some big plays for us in the pass game and the run game, and is also really sharp and on top of protections on third down. So pleased with him.
There were times when, to me anyway, it looked like Deshaun Watson was uncomfortable in the pocket trying to set up. Do you agree with that, or is that wrong?
Well, I know we had some instances where he had some guys in his face early, and that'll make you uncomfortable. Yeah, but I don't see that.
He's always been known for his accuracy. I think he's over 70% his last year. You know, now he's under 60. What do you attribute? Do you see something there?
If I saw something, I would have fixed it. You know, so I don't see anything. We're just getting into our groove right now. I'm not concerned about it.
There was a lot that went to the sideline. Was that just what the Steelers were giving you, or was that by design?
A lot of plays.
Went to the sideline.
Yeah, depending on down and distance structure, their defense, especially in some of the longer down and distances, that's where the ball needed to go. That was the area we tried to attack.
One graded out, in his first start.
Good. I mean, that's big lights were on him. Obviously the matchup was big. We helped him in a lot of ways protectionally, but at times when he had to go one-on-one, I thought he did a really nice job. He's continued to get better each week. He needs to make some strides in the run game, but other than that, I thought he protected well when he had his one-on-one opportunities.
Jerome, how have you seen his confidence grow, especially from last year to this year?
Yeah, success breeds that. He did a lot of great things as a kick returner last year, and that carried over this season into the run game. So as he gets better and he's more comfortable in his role, I think he'll just continue to excel.
Jed's going to be okay and get better as the season goes along, and do you think some of the woes from Monday night had to do with the fact that you had to give DeWan what you think helped?
We knew that was a tough matchup regardless. We talked about the edges being important that week. It was just I thought he played well for the most part. Got stuck on that last one, the sack fumble. Just the cadence and the atmosphere got him. Didn't get off on time on the snap. But, it was a big challenge for Jed. Thought he played, again, admirably for the most part. Just had the one glaring one there at the end. But, Jed's always shown up for us. He's played left tackle for us every time he's healthy for the last 4 years. So he'll continue to get better.
All off-season we heard about how we're going to use Elijah Moore in different ways and get him involved in pretty much every aspect of this offense. We haven't seen it to this point. Are you guys planning on breaking him out a little bit to kind of jumpstart this offense at all? Or?
Well, again, he's one of those shoes, one of those feet that fills the shoes for Nick, so we'll find more ways to get everybody involved.
Talk to Deshaun. Where do you think his confidence level is? Have you seen it wane at all? And then what are the positives you see from him through the first 2 games?
A lot of great things he does with his legs. He made plays in that game alone just to get to escape pressure and escape some of the stuff that nobody else is going to make. Very few people can make those plays. I know the sky's falling, I don't see it that way at all. I don't think he'll ever lose his confidence. He's a tremendous player. We have all the confidence in the world in him. Again, I think we're doing a lot of nice things offensively. We're just not all the way together yet, and that's part of the, the growing pains at the beginning of the season.
And maybe as the weeks go on, how much does the game speed impact, like him having to take what he's done in practice and do it this season, because you can't replicate game speed in practice, right? Does that play into it at all?
No, not at all. No, everybody's under the same gun in practice. It's not the game speed, so everybody has the same issues. But no, it's not an issue.
When you look at Titans defense, does it start with Simmons?
It starts up front for sure. The front seven is talented, especially the defensive line. Those guys are big, strong, powerful guys, and they create problems. We addressed that already. It's going to be a battle of the trenches, and that's where their defense starts, is up front.
Jim spent time there, obviously. Like, how much do you see similarities between certain things that maybe they try to do with what your guys do?
A little bit, not a ton, but there is some carryover in some of the scheme.
So, obviously Nick is such a loss. Like, from a coaching staff, like, what's the missing the comfort level that he has, right? Like, I'm sure on 3rd and 1, you guys say, okay, just hand it to Nick. Like, is that something you guys will have to get past without him?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's our bell cow, and he was on his way to who knows what, the way he came out and started. Yeah, we definitely have to. We've got to find different people to fill that role, and scheme might change based on situation like that. But that's the NFL, adjust and adapt. He won't be the only guy we'll lose on the offense this year. So it'll happen again at some point. Knock on wood, it doesn't, but that's the way it is in the NFL. So,
Looking at bonus with it, though, to get Kareem, who you obviously know well and knows your system, I mean, that's got to be a positive.
Absolutely, yeah. Getting Kareem back is good for us. Guy played hard for us here for 3 years, obviously, and did a lot of good things. So his familiarity with the system accelerates his ability to help us immediately. All righty, thanks.
Sorry about the white shirt back there. It has got the resurgence of summer here in Cleveland, so I had to go with the white shirt. Before I start, I just want to publicly acknowledge and thank the Titans organization, Mike Vrabel, Miss Amy, and J-Rob for the last 2 years with their organizations. A lot of you guys know I was in a tough spot a couple years ago. I had to step away from the game. My thyroid had gone berserk, and I needed a bunch of different operations and procedures. And, Mike Vrabel called me, it seemed like every week for about 4 months, and he never once talked about football. He just always just asked me how I was doing and everything else. And, I started feeling a little bit better, got my vision back and a bunch of different things. And he invited me to start, just like 1 day a week. And 1 day turned into 2 and turned into 3. And Vrabes never once, never once made it anything about other than do what you feel that you can do. And pretty soon, about 6 months later, I was pretty much back to normal and pretty much working normal hours. But it was really an honor to be back in that organization. It was an honor to work with guys in the staff. I think I have some lifelong friends on that staff. And I'm greatly indebted to Vrabes for what he did and for helping me out. I just hope that I gave as much as I received in those 2 years. So it'll be good to it'll be good to see those guys. A son of Northeast Ohio coming back home to play a game, and I figure the best way I can honor them is to play really good defense on Sunday.
That makes him such an effective coach and allows him to get the best out of guys like he does.
Yeah, he's a former player, but that's not the whole story. He's very consistent in his message. He has a philosophy. He sticks through it. He doesn't waver when it comes to the winds of the NFL, I guess you'd say. The wind starts blowing one way, he doesn't change direction and go another way. And I think that's probably the biggest thing. He's an excellent leader. He's a fantastic game manager. I learned a lot from Vrabes when it came to dealing with a team and, in game management. No matter how many years you've been in the league, this is 31 for me, there's always something that you can pick up and learn from somebody else. And, every day I seem to pick up something. It's like, what? He did that a different way than I've done it in the past. And, maybe that's a better way. So, I think the biggest thing is, he sticks to his guns. He's unwavering. They lose a game, he doesn't change course. And that's valuable in the NFL. No, I had respect for him as a player and then knew him a little bit, But, my kids were in school in Nashville, and I was back in Nashville. And, I'd see his wife, Jen, walking the dog, and, we lived in close to the same neighborhood. And, so in the off season and stuff, we would, run into each other at times. No. Oh, no. He had touch base once or twice a year before that. But, when the news came out that I had to step away, it wasn't anything other than, how you doing? And then, hey, look, come back, have a little fun, and you can contribute. And, like I said, I think I was a good mentor, helped the young coaches out, and knew my role. And like I said before, Tony, I hope I gave as much as I received.
Do you think your 2 years there, you got to know Tannehill pretty well, what does well, what maybe you take advantage of. So how's that going to help you on Sunday?
Well, and I think knowing personnel helps a little bit. They've turned over a lot of personnel, but whether it's Ryan or Derrick Henry, all those guys, you have a good idea of what guys do well and what they don't. I don't know. It's a whole lot different than just film study because Ryan's been in the league for so long. Jeff, and he has such a track record, not just with the Titans, but Miami before that. So he has a lot of tape on him. Derek has been around a lot, and it's going to be a tough challenge stopping those guys on Sunday.
We have 4 new starters on the offense. that where it starts for you, for your game plan?
Well, I think, when you're built the way we are, up front is what drives our defense. We expect those guys to be the engine of our defense, and and I think we have, just in general, we have guys that are tough matchups, not necessarily against the Titans, but just in general, and we try to emphasize that, and so I think that, it starts from there. I think you've seen the way teams have played us the first 2 weeks. They don't want to hold the ball very long and, try to do a lot to combat what we do on defense. So I'm sure they'll do the same thing. They know who our players are. They know, what they're capable of doing, so they'll have a plan. But I think just like you saw on Monday night, sort of like you go back to Cincinnati and we had Miles on the center and he got a flush and we got the sack, and came back last week and they had a different plan for it. And we had anticipated it, but they weren't going to leave Miles one-on-one in the center, so they doubled back, which left Sione free, and Sione was able to get the sack. And, I think we have a lot of complementary parts that way that, that we can use. And, you devote too much attention to one guy, we have a lot of ways to, sort of make you pay in another way. So D-line's very important to us, but, they're gonna have, not just rushing the passer this week. Number 22 is coming to town, and, we need him on Highway 90. We don't need him on Highway 71, if you know what I mean. Right, no north-south. We need him east-west. We need him. We need him going sideways, and the D-line's going to have a lot to do with that, and getting penetration and keeping him from coming downhill on us. Because, Jeff, you talk about having firsthand knowledge. I've seen that firsthand. I've played against Derek before, but then also seen how people try to take him out of game plan. And definition of a great player is, even when teams start their game plan with you, you still have a way to be effective. And I think Derek falls into that category. He's a guy that, you can stop 9 times in a row, and the 10th time he can go 90 yards for a touchdown. So we're going to have to play excellent team defense. We're going to have to tackle well. We're going to have to be physical, and we're going to have to get hats to the ball. Tackling Derrick Henry isn't a one-on-one thing. It's an 11-on-1 thing, and, we have to have that mentality going in.
Jim, how pleased have you been with your run defense through this first 2 games?
It's 2 games. We're off to a solid start. Obviously we had the missed tackle that led to a 21-yard gain in that play. I think, Z makes that play probably 9 out of 10 times, but, Najee Harris is a good back, and he broke it and, made us pay. But, the consistency of not allowing the people to move the chains with the run game is very important to us. And it also helps set up our rush. If we can make a game one-dimensional, then, it can lead to more opportunities to pass rush and things like that. So, just allowing offenses or preventing the offenses from controlling the flow of the game and the tempo of the game, all those things are important. And, if you want to be known as a physical defense, you better do a good job stopping the run. And, we want to do all those things.
Back to Monday night, what was the message to the defense after that big play to Pickens? Seemed like it was a really turning point of the game, but defense seemed to kind of rally up after that. What was the message?
Well, we had started, I think, the first drive interception, punt, fumble recovery, punt, and then a 3-and-out field goal. So we got off to a fast start, and then we had a little bit of a lull. We gave up that touchdown. We gave up a field goal. And I think the guys have a lot of pride. And the thing with that touchdown is it was just really, it wasn't just one person. We didn't execute that defense very well at all. And that's a defense that we generally played really well over the course of training camp, preseason games, and the regular season so far. So it was disappointing that way. But, those plays are going to happen in the NFL. Hopefully you can limit those as much. It's the only touchdown we've given up in 2 games. And our guys have a lot of pride. And, we finished the game with punt, 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 punt. And we're able to least get the ball back for our offense. And, you know, like I said, our job is try to set them up and get the ball back for them. So our guys didn't panic. Our guys didn't let one. But, you know, I think the thing we have to guard against in a game like that, and then losing Nick and things like that, one of the things we talked about was just guarding against guys trying to play outside the scheme and do too much. You know, you can go get too antsy trying to make plays. And our message is make the plays that come to you. Don't go outside to make them. And I think in that play, we had a lot of guys trying to make a play, and instead of just making the play that came to them. So, you know, I'm proud of our guys' ability to bounce back. I'm not proud of that play, but you know, we'll bounce back from it.
Nick is a blow. You also saw the Titans in 2021 lose Henry for 9 games and still go 12-5. How were they able to do that?
Yeah, I think it's what I said before about Mike Vrabel. You know, he's just, you know, he doesn't panic. He stays the course. You know, he's very resilient that way, and it flowed over to the team. You know, and you know, part of that job of the head coach is to make sure everybody knows, hey, it's going to be okay. We have you know, we have a plan. We have good players behind. Deontay was able to step in and play good in his place. And, you know, I mean, injuries are just fact of life in the NFL. And no coach points to injuries as the reason that, you know, you don't perform well. No good coaches do, right? You know, it's just, hey, next guy up, and let's fill them in. Let's find out what we're good at. Let's find out how we best use those guys. And, you know, whether you're talking about Derrick Henry or Nick or, you know, anybody else, you know, that's just a standard course of action in the NFL.
What was the worst injury that you had to deal with as a coach?
I don't know. I mean, there's tons. When I was in Tennessee way back in like 2002, we lost Javon Kersel in the first play of the game, broke his foot. You know, and he was premier pass rusher in the league, and we ended up in the AFC Championship game that year. So he was able to come back in like 10 weeks, but, you know, we had to survive him being down in that game, Jeff. A rookie 7th rounder replaced him in that game, had 3 sacks. So, you know, when you know, you just don't pay lip service to the next man up, you know. You know, I think fans and other people tend to be more concerned about injuries than coaches because, you know, our whole thing is, okay, what's next? What do? We don't have time to fret about it. You know, you just go to the next guy and move him in and, you know, try to be efficient.
Make of your red zone defense. You haven't had a
Yeah, we haven't let anybody inside the 30, so not just red zone. Obviously, that's not going to continue, but I like where it is right now, you know. Either 0% or 100%, I don't know the way you'd put it, but, you know, the less opportunities. Red zone's tough, you know, and that's where scores happen. And, you know, we've given up a couple field goals, but they've generally been longer field goals, which, you know, we've seen guys miss, Cincinnati game and stuff like that. So, you know, we just go and play on the field position that we got and hope that we can stop drives. But I think, Tony, that probably plays a little bit into the third down. You know, we've made it hard to sustain drives so far. So when it's hard to sustain drives and you don't give up a lot of big plays, albeit a 71-yarder, it makes it hard to get down into the red zone.
Was that a clean hit by Minkah Fitzpatrick? And how do you coach your guys regarding, you know, low hits, high hits, and?
Yeah, I glanced at it at the board, and I haven't watched it since. So, you know, it's football. Okay, guys. All right. Hard deadline.